JC home. I mean, if you're just checking us out or you haven't decided to follow Jesus yet, you're welcome to listen in, but there are just a few things I want to share with the JC family. I know for you and me, it's all of us, it's hard to believe that we're coming up on a full year since we've been able to be together. And I miss each of you so much. It's been hard to not see your faces and give hugs and laugh and cry together. I miss hearing your voices singing together in worship and your laughter after my corny jokes. But just being together with you, I really miss you. Now, this past year certainly hasn't been easy. I mean, some of us have lost loved ones. Some of us have lost jobs and income. And many have coped with this difficult task of caring for kids and working from home. And even some of us have had to stay on the front lines and risk ourselves every single day. Well, as a church, we've really worked hard to serve our neighbors. And I think we've done quite a few things to help those both inside our church family and many outside of it. And we've worked really long hours trying to make not being together as helpful as possible. But you and I know there's just no substitute for being able to do life together in person. Now, the good news is as the numbers go down and the vaccines get administered, there's this ray of hope, right? That we're going to be able to be back together in person sometime fairly soon. But I also want you to know that we realize this transition isn't going to be immediate. And while some of you might be comfortable returning, we also know that many others are vulnerable. And you need to take some time before you feel it's safer to return. So I want you to know that whenever we might start having services again in person, we are also doubly committed to not only continuing our online service and virtual groups and opportunities, but we also want to continue to improve them. Because we know that going forward, both in person and online, are going to be equally important for us as we want to serve you and reach our many, many neighbors who still need Jesus. But in the meantime, we need your help. Financially, we've cut lots of corners and we've reduced costs to stay afloat. And while we've survived this last year, it hasn't been easy. Some weeks, honestly, we weren't sure we'd make it. But God and many of you have been faithful in continuing to give and tithe. And I'm so grateful for you. Thank you. The next few months for us here at Journeys are going to be critical. As we prepare for a time where we can be back together, we still need your help. And since the first of the year, we've been hit hard with additional expenses, and we just don't have the reserve anymore to cover their costs. Things like an older rooftop HVAC unit on our building now needs to be replaced. We've been hit with lots of annual licenses and renewals that come due the first of the year. And honestly, our accounts payable is growing every month. And we want to be able to continue caring for the needy in our community like you do and support our many missionaries and projects and the children we help care for all around the world. In fact, our church plant in Colombia, the one where we supported an entire village of kids the previous December, and we even built a small church building, a community center there. Well, they've suffered a great loss. The pastor we support there, Isabel, recently contracted COVID and passed away. So the needs are great. The pain is real. And we're heartbroken. And there's just so much God has for our church to continue doing. And most of it requires supplies and support. And so in the next few months, many of you are going to receive the blessing of an extra stimulus check. And some of you, I think a lot of us, have been able to weather this pandemic without significant financial loss. Now listen, if you fall into that category, I hope you'll consider giving to help. Because if all of us could and would make a small sacrifice to give generously, I know we'll be able to make the repairs, catch up on our expenses, and most importantly, serve those in our community and around the world who need our help. So would you pray and ask God to use you and others to help meet these important needs? And will you help us not just weather this difficult time, but help us prepare for our best next season of ministry? Because our mission to meet people where they are and help them find and follow Jesus, it hasn't changed. If anything, the need is greater than ever. And with all my heart, I believe our best days are ahead of us. That we're going to reach more families and friends of yours and neighbors for Jesus. And we're going to be stronger and more able to serve the less privileged here and around the world. The fact is, our world faces an even greater danger than COVID. You realize that hundreds of people here in Moco will die today and spend an eternity apart from God in forever despair? Listen, the thought of that should shake us up so that we would do whatever we can to prevent it. Our mission isn't just about helping others here and now. If we don't take seriously our mission, the consequences for millions, it should honestly tear our hearts apart. I think the pandemic should warn and wake us to this desperate need to help those around us find and follow Jesus. And each of us have been blessed so that together, as God's church, we can make a difference, both now and more importantly for people's eternity. So as your pastor, I'm asking you to put your ultimate trust in God and put his kingdom first every single day. And that would include even in your tithes and offerings. Listen, you can give today simply by texting the word give to 301-880-1543 or anytime. Or you can go to journeyscrossing.org/give. Both are safe and secure. And even if you go online, like many others, maybe you would set up an automatic recurring gift schedule to help us make sure we can do what we need to in the future. Recently, I sent out a digital letter with a link so you could download your 2020 giving statement for tax purposes. And by the way, we're also sending a paper version in the next week, just in case you didn't receive it. And if you have any questions or didn't receive that statement in your email, email our financial assistant, Sue Abloy, at sue@journeyscrossing.org, and we'll help clear up any of those difficulties. You know what? One of the benefits of getting a giving statement is that it gives each of us a clear picture of our generosity to Journeys Crossing. And it gives us an opportunity to see how well we're doing in putting God first in our financial priorities. Now I'm praying that God will gently prod you and many, many others to trust him more, to honor him, and to bless his church to accomplish all these great dreams God has for us. God loves you, and he's got a powerful plan for your life, no matter where you are and what you do. I'm telling you, you can trust him to meet your needs. As I'm trusting him, he'll meet our needs at Journeys Crossing. And by the way, if you really, really want to grow your faith, I double dog dare you to try the 90-day challenge I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. I want you to watch an amazing video. It's only about 3 minutes long, but it gives you an incredible picture of how vast and big our universe is compared to each of us. Remember, nothing is too big for God to do. And I want you to know that this great God loves you and even knows the number of hairs on your head. For some of us, that's easier. For some of us, not so much. He knows your every need, and he promises to take care of you. And it's amazing to imagine. Now, I love you, and I miss you dearly, and I'm anxiously awaiting that day when I can see your smile in person, whenever that might be. God bless you richly, as you bless others today and into the future. So watch this and know that nothing is too big for our God to handle.